one of my favorites. Here's a list of the knots that you need to know. Material list. Cutting the wires at about 4 inches each. You'll need 2 of them. Make a loop in the center. Attach your cords with Lark heads. 2 dark colors, 2 light colors, 2 dark colors, 2 light colors, and then the loop. Two light colors, 2 dark colors, 2 light colors, 2 dark colors on the other side. Tie a row of square knots. Number your cords 1 to 32, 1 on the left, and take out 16 and 17 from the center and put them out of your way. Cord 15 will be your anchor cord, and you'll tie diagonal double half hitch knots to the left. Now cord 16 is number 1. And repeat on the other side with cord 18. And here's the pattern. Add beads to cord 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Add beads to 19, 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29, and 31. With cord 15, take it towards the left and make a row of diagonal double half hitch knots right up against the beads. Cord 18 will go towards the right up against the beads. Then with cords 15 and 18, again make a row of diagonal double half hitch knots on the left and the right. Cords 16 and 17, you will bring these down and use them as filler cords and tie a square knot with cords 15 and 18. Then again, pin cords 16 and 17 out of the way. Cords 15 and 18, you will make another diagonal double half hitch dot row on the left and the right, and then one more time so you'll have 4 rows. Bring cords 17 and 18 down and get cord 15 and 16, 17 and 18 all together, and they will be your filler cords, and tie a square knot with cord 14 and 19. And another look at the pattern. Tie a square knot with cords 10 through 13 and a square knot with cords 20 to 23. Then tie an alternating square knot row, cords 1 through 3, 16, 17, and cords 30 through 32 will float this time. On cords 16 and 17, bring them down and add 3 beads. Make a row of alternating square knots, cords 1 through 5 and 28 to 32 will float this step. Cords 15, 16, 17, and 18 use as filler cords and tie a square knot with cords 14 and 19. Make another row of alternating square knots, cords 1 through 3, 16 and 17, cords 30 through 32 will float this step. Cords 16 and 17, add 3 beads. Make a square knot with cords 10 and 13, cords 20, 23, another square knot. Cords 14 through 19, tie a square knot underneath the beads. On cord 1, add 3 beads, then tie a row of diagonal double half hitch knots using cord 1 as the anchor cord and attaching cords 2 through 15. On cord 32, add 3 beads, tie a row of diagonal double half hitch knots using cords 32 as the anchor cord and attaching cords 31 to 18. Tie another row of diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides. Bring cords 16 and 17 down and tie a square knot with 15 and 18. 16 and 17 are your filler cords. Tie 2 more rows of diagonal double half hitch knots, working from the outside in, cord 1 as the anchor cord 32 as the anchor cord, and cords 16 and 17 will be floater cords, so you might want to pull those out of the way. And here's the pattern of what we just did. To cord 1, add 9 beads. And on cord 14, add 1 bead. Cords 2 through 5, tie 15 half square knots. Cords 6 through 9, tie 11 half square knots. Cords 10 through 13, tie 5 half square knots. Tie diagonal double half hitch knots on cord 15, working from center to the left. Then repeat on the right side. Make another row of diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides. Cords 16 and 17 are your filler cords, and you'll tie knots with 15 and 18. And then pin cords 16 and 17 out of the way again. Make another row of diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides. Actually 2 more rows, because you want 4 rows total on both sides. And here's the pattern where we're at right now. Now we're just going to repeat this section again. Redirect the cords and make 2 rows of diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides from center out with cords 15 and 18 as anchor cord. This is the center of the bracelet. Make another row of diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides and bring down the filler cords and tie a square knot. Then make 2 more rows on both sides for a total of 4. And here's where we're at on the pattern. Now that we passed the center mark, we will just work the pattern in reverse. Next, we'll put on the beads just like we did at the beginning and tie diagonal double half hitch knots on both sides close to the bead. Keeping the cord close to the beads. Now you will tie your square knots just like you did at the beginning. Take your other piece of wire, bend it in half, and then you will want to squeeze it together and then put a little hook on it. Attach the cords to the wire with double half hitch knots, 16 cords on both sides. Then tie square knots with every 4 groups of cords. Add a little clear fingernail polish on the ends and clip your cords. And the last part of the pattern. I hope you like this pattern as much as I have, and I can't wait to see what you do with this pattern. Here's a little bonus. I made another one that was just 5.5 inches by basically doing the same pattern, but in the center I reversed it. I added some beads in the center and 1 bead on outside each, and as you can see, it's a little different direction than the other bracelet was. This is just past center, so I'm just reversing the pattern to the end. So you can see I basically followed the same pattern, except for taking out this section and this section. And now you can see the centers, how they're different.